Welcome to the Senior Focus. I'm your host, Attorney Nick Kaltzis. Knowledge is power, ladies and gentlemen. The more you know about something, the more influence you'll have over that matter. We have a great show for you today. We're joined by Angela Penny, and we're going to discuss hospice care. Later in our show, we'll be joined by Donna Ostagai, and we'll discuss the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit and the long-term planning guide published by Elder and Disability Law Advocates. Finally, I'll try to fit in some information on the Living Well with Cancer Symposium. Angela, welcome to the Senior Focus.
Hi, Nick.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I work for the Eastern Orthodox Management Corporation in Worcester, which is Holy Trinity Nursing and Rehab Center, Holy Trinity Hospice, and the Ichabod Washburn Hospice Residence.
And what drew your interest to hospice care?
Hospice Directly was brought to us last April. We opened the Ichabod Washburn Hospice Residence, and I am doing the marketing and admissions for that building. And personally, I lost a family member, my dad, right before it opened, and it just warmed my heart to know what hospice did for my dad, and so therefore it means a lot to me now.
What's your philosophy? Do you have a particular philosophy on hospice care?
Hospice, the philosophy is to care for the patient and wrap your arms around the family. So you are providing symptom-free care to the patient, managing symptoms, managing pain, and then you're helping the family cope with the end-of-life journey that they are dealing with.
And as far as eligibility for hospice care, who's eligible for hospice care?
When you elect hospice, what you're electing is that you've either had some sort of a diagnosis, that you are no longer going through curative care. So if you've been doing chemo and radiation and multiple surgeries, you're choosing that that's not the route you want to live anymore. And you're choosing to end your life journey with pain-free, quality care, and you want to now be in comfort and live with your family.
This is basically a quality of care type decision that a person makes.
Yes.
Can I assume that there are occasions where there is some form of treatment that might be rendered to someone where the lines are kind of blurred between a curative care and a palliative care?
In my experience, I think that's maybe sometimes people might think that. For example, if you are at the hospital and you're needing IV fluids and that's what you want to continue, that wouldn't be discontinued. That would still be some form of palliative care, but it wouldn't be curative. So therefore, you would still be on hospice, but you'd be having fluids.
So when you're on hospice, that doesn't mean that they're necessarily going to shut down all treatment to you. No. They will try to provide an environment where you're comfortable and let you pass with dignity. Yes,
and a quality of life that's surrounded by your family and your friends.
Now, with respect to palliative care, am I saying that right? Palliative, palliative.
I think people say it both ways.
Okay, well, I'll probably say it both ways as we're talking. What exactly is palliative care?
Well, my expertise wouldn't be in palliative care only because I'm more in the hospice. Palliative care can be for a diagnosis, and I don't want to be quoted on it too much, a diagnosis that maybe is not the end of your life, but is a long-term where you would need symptom management and pain management. For example, some heart disease may not be hospice care, but palliative to manage your symptoms.
Okay, I see. It's all about quality of life.
It's all about quality of life.
Okay. When would someone decide that it's time for hospice care?
That's really, it's a personal decision that people typically will make with their family. They kind of inside, they're doing it for a long time, and then we'll talk to patients and they've made this decision. Then when they talk to their family, everyone sort of embraces it because, of course, no one wants to see someone pass away.
Right.
You don't want to lose someone you love. The decision is made when you've decided you're not having surgery number 15, chemo round number 55, hospitalization. You know, a lot of people with heart disease jump in and out of the emergency room time after time again and keep getting treatments when really it's time to just have your symptoms treated, but live a quality of life, not going back to the hospital, not looking at more surgeries. And so that's when people make that decision. They're not looking to be cured. Their disease process is such that they're not going to be cured, but they want to live a quality of life.
You know, lots of times you hear that people will elect hospice care, but they elect it so late in the process, and they might elect it when there were only 2 days left, where the person is only going to survive for a couple days or a couple hours. Do you have any particular opinion on that?
Well, I have an opinion.
Okay.
It's the typical norm that I see are people are not electing hospice early enough to really have the full benefit to them and to their family. If you elected it earlier, you get a longer amount of that benefit time. You get the pastoral care, the spiritual care that you might be looking for. You get the time to pre-plan, maybe speak with a lawyer about the things that you want. A lot of people don't have that idea of being able to pre-plan for when they pass away, and make no doubts that they're more concerned about you when they pass away than you are concerned about what's going on right then and there.
So can I say that it's a major concern, maybe not a major concern, but the earlier in the process someone comes and adopts hospice care, the more benefit, obviously, they're going to
Absolutely. I firmly believe in that.
And, you know, why would someone choose hospice care? Why not just have that person? Why would that person elect hospice care rather than just trying to deal with whatever symptoms they have on their own?
Well, I've adopted this new thought process because people ask me this question. So if you broke your ankle, Nick, you would see an orthopedic doctor.
Right.
And they would fix your ankle. If you had a heart attack, you would go see a cardiologist for some sort of surgical procedure.
Sure.
When someone has decided to not go through a curative measure anymore, you need a special team that has specialized in the area of end of life, and that is a hospice team. Just as you would need a special team to supplement your care if you broke an ankle or had a heart attack, you would need a special team to supplement your care if you're choosing hospice.
So we keep hearing special team. Is there, in fact, a special team that delivers this hospice care?
So they're specialized because this is what they've studied, this is what they've gone to school for. You would have a doctor, a nurse, a social worker, CNAs, volunteers, pastoral care, that all are wrapping their arms around the hospice philosophy. So they're helping the family and the patient.
So rather than the general overview, now we're taking a more in-depth look from a patient's perspective of what hospice care is.
Right.
You mentioned that there's a physician and he's specially or she's specially trained in hospice care. Can an individual on hospice maintain a relationship with their own physician, or do they have to cast off that physician for the hospice physician?
Most patients that we see keep their own physician, and the hospice team is a supplement to them keeping their own physician.
And what if the physician that someone hasn't spoken to them about hospice care?
Well, that's when you can have a consult. You can have the hospice palliative care consult, and that's when that team can work together.
And, you know, I presume there's nothing wrong with, you know, speaking to your physician about if there are any services that are out there that would make your symptoms easier, make it easier for you to transition.
For example, your PCP, your primary care physician, may not know about different med management regarding symptoms. And there are different medications, and I'm not a doctor. I just know that there are certain medications that work well with different symptoms that typically and normally for someone who was not in the end-of-life process you wouldn't use. But doctors who specialize in hospice care know what meds to use.
So again, the question of, can a person continue with treatments and therapies?
Yes.
But it's all about maintaining a person's quality of life, having made a determination that they no longer care to pursue can I say, aggressive treatment?
That's a great word to use,
Okay.
yes. Curative aggressive treatment.
What about some of the symptoms that can be expected? Is the patient in pain?
Well, that's our goal, for the patient not to be in pain. So even if you enter hospice care and there's some level of up and down roller coaster type of pain, our goal is to make that symptom pain-free management.
Are there other symptoms? I know that I had mentioned pain, but are there other symptoms that you see on a regular basis that can be alleviated by this hospice care?
Oh, absolutely. I go back to the emotional, because that's the largest part about someone who's experiencing an end-of-life journey. So when you have people who are experts in the field, part of your team, that specialized team, they're able to help you, again, because you, the patient, you're more concerned about leaving everyone behind.
Sure.
So you want to discuss that with someone, and you want to ask the questions about what you can do to relieve, and I see it all the time, to relieve your family's pain. What kind of pre-planning things you can do to assist the family for after you pass away.
Now, whether, there are a lot of different ailments that people suffer from, whether it's a heart ailment, whether it's something that deals with, let's say, their liver or their kidneys, dementia, they can be suffering from a wide range of different ailments, cancers. Is hospice care specifically directed toward a particular ailment, or is it available regardless of the ailment that you suffer from?
Well, we all hear about cancer. Of course, that's one of the larger diagnoses that would then warrant a hospice referral. But a lot of people at the end of their life, just old age, typically it's called failure to thrive. That just means old age, and people generally are dying a natural process. But why shouldn't those people also have the benefit of hospice care that would help them die in a very symptom-free, pain-free way?
What if someone gets better? You go on hospice. What if the hospice care that you receive maybe doesn't cure your ailment, but you get better and your prognosis is to survive longer than what is expected for hospice?
Some people, there's a term in hospice called graduate. Some people do graduate from hospice, and that means that they received great care and they indeed did get better.
I can remember a particular case that I had. These individuals, a son and a daughter, came into my office, and because the mother was on hospice, they decided that they wouldn't pursue whatever legal remedies they were looking at, and they came back probably a year and a half later, and their mother had improved significantly, was no longer on hospice, and at that point wanted to begin to pursue whatever legal remedies. They lost about a year and a half. I think that the bottom line is procrastination is not a good thing. Even with hospice care, if a person might need hospice care, the sooner that they were to look into receiving these benefits, there are real benefits that can be bestowed upon them.
Absolutely. And I think one of the concerns about looking at hospice is that some doctors and people feel like you have to have a timeline, and that's not always the case, because the trajectory of any disease process is not an absolute. You can't absolutely say that this is what you have and this is when this is all going to end.
And where is hospice care provided? Can someone get hospice care in their home?
You can receive hospice care in your home. You can receive hospice care in a nursing home, assisted living, rest home, and then a hospice residence.
Can you get hospice in a hospital?
Yes, there's different levels to that, and that wouldn't be my area that I would be able to give you the best answer.
Okay. We're going to head to a break right now. When we come back, we'll return with more information from Angela Penny.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star, deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? Consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
Welcome to Trinity Lutheran Church. Join in the celebration of the resurrection of our Lord as it is telecast at 3:30 on Easter Sunday afternoon on Charter TV 3. Again, welcome to Trinity.
Hey, Mom. Oh no, I'm doing great. Yeah, I miss you too. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Feel closer to home with Charter Phone.
Bye, sweetie. We'll see you soon.
Switch your phone service to Charter and cut your phone bill in half.
Hi, I'm Mary Sullivan, Director of the Pharmacy Outreach Program. Did you know that some medications can cause effects that can increase your risk of falling? Talk with your doctor if you're experiencing any unwanted effects from your medications, and consider having a medication checkup, a review of all of your medications with your pharmacist. Remember, managing your medications is key for you to stay active, stay strong, and stay standing.
Message provided by the City of Worcester and Charter Communications.
I'm Hank Stoltz. Join me on the Hank Stoltz Experience. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus and my discussion with Angela Penny. So Angela, we were talking about, symptoms if someone's in pain, and you indicated, well, that's one of the main tenets of hospice care is to try to maintain their quality of life and to provide dignity to them, and that you, in fact, don't want to see people in pain. And we talked a little bit about if someone recovers to the extent that they're no longer on hospice, and we found out that it's possible for someone to get better and graduate from hospice, not be on hospice anymore. Is it that an individual on hospice would be a burden to their families?
I'm not sure if the burden would be the right word. What we typically will see when someone needs to come to the hospice residence is that it's caregiver exhaustion, or that there is a pain level that it has not been well managed and they need 24-hour nursing care. I also think sometimes, not to use the word burden, but to say that families want to be families. I may want to finish being my husband's wife. I want to be my dad's daughter. And when you're at home with hospice, that's a very difficult task because you are then caring for someone 24 hours a day with nursing support coming in and out. In a hospice residence, you're able to receive that support 24 hours a day, and then you're able to go back being the family member.
Sounds to me like the idea of someone feeling like they're a burden on their family because of hospice care or the stage of the illness that they're suffering from is pretty much something that they're thinking themselves. Their loved ones aren't thinking that.
No, and that's where the caregiver exhaustion term sort of comes into play, is because the the patient, the person will always feel like they're going to be the burden. They're the one receiving and needing the care. So they're not going to necessarily voice that, that they're a burden, but I think it's more that caregiver exhaustion where the family is providing all that care, and they're not going to say, you're a burden. It's just that they're exhausted.
And we mentioned, or you mentioned, about the specialized team approach and providing care from, you know, a number of different disciplines, bringing it to bear so that an individual gets, we'll say, the maximum amount of benefits that are possible. How often would an individual see this specialized team?
Well, again, I think that's very dependent on where you're receiving your hospice care. If you're receiving that hospice care in your home, it's throughout the week. People are in and out of your home providing that hospice service. If you're in a hospice residence, you receive that care 24 hours a day.
And what about a patient's personal beliefs? Lots of times, you know, at least from my perspective, I see people all the time, every day, that don't want extraordinary measures to be undertaken. They want to be able to pass with dignity. If a person elects hospice care, but they have made previous decisions with regard to what care they would elect to have or not elect to have, are their personal wishes followed?
Oh, absolutely. That's hopefully when someone comes on board with hospice, they've already made their DNR, DNI, CMO, those types of statuses, and we follow that plan of care.
Okay, so maybe you can tell me those initials, what they stand for.
A do not resuscitate,
okay.
A do not intubate, a do not hospitalize, and comfort measures only. And
do you see people in your facilities that execute these documents?
Yes. All of the time.
They can come in, someone can have capacity,
yes.
They can execute documents. Not everyone that you see is incapacitated and lacks the, you know, requisite capacity to execute these documents.
No, absolutely. We a number of times we will see people come on to hospice and they don't have any of those documents done.
Okay.
And you have to get that all ready
so
at the time of admission. So
it's not too late for them to get those documents put in place?
Absolutely not.
So whatever their particular personal preferences are, they can indicate what they are, memorialize them in writing, and then you have written record of what that person would want or not want.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Let's take a look at this from the family's perspective. You had indicated that hospice care can be provided in a number of different locations. What's it like to have hospice in your house?
Well, from a personal perspective, we had hospice in my dad's home, and at first I would say that it was a little scary. Felt like you were still having visitors in your home, that you had to greet them and go through all of the niceties. And then soon, within a short period of time, they become part of your family. And so then they're just walking in, telling the dogs to stop barking and sitting with you. And quickly they become the person that you lean on for the care that you need.
I bet you there are people out there that are watching that think, yeah, but I don't want someone to become part of my family and to actually live with me and be there 24 hours a day.
Well, now if it's in your own home, they certainly won't be there living with you 24 hours a day. Absolutely. They come into your home as professionals. But from a family's perspective, for me, when that hospice provider came in, I did lean on them in a more familial way. So they became part of me. I still see my dad's nurse, and I still hug her and tear up when I see her. So for me, from a family's perspective, hospice is a very good thing to have in your home. Some people, however, then can't move. They don't want that inside of their home. They either want a more structured setting, or they don't feel like this can be handled in their home. That's different. That's when you move to a place like the residence.
So if someone doesn't want to go to a facility, they don't want to be institutionalized, they want to go home, they want to pass in their home, you can get hospice in your home.
Yes, yes. A majority of people do receive hospice within their home.
Right, the majority of people receive those benefits in their home.
Yes.
Now, you have established the fact that we're not talking 24/7 care for hospice. I would assume they come in, they do their job, and then they leave.
Well, hospice in the home setting
Yeah.
is that the family provides the 24-hour care.
Okay.
And your hospice provider, your nurses and CNAs and such, come in and make visits.
Okay. How often are the visits?
That's really dependent on the patient and the patient's needs.
Okay.
That would depend on the diagnosis, their pain management and
Do
symptoms.
they come every day? Do they come 4 times a day? Do they stay 12 hours a day? It all depends
it
on
all
the
depends on
situation?
the situation. I think every hospice provider would tell you that they look at their patient and their patient's needs, and they adjust the schedule as needed.
Okay, but you have an answer for this question. If an individual wanted to have, needed a place to call in, is hospice available 24 hours a day?
Yes, your hospice provider is available to you 24 hours a day.
So it doesn't matter if someone wanted to call at 3 in the morning, at 7 at night, at 3 in the afternoon, they'll always be able to get someone who can help them.
In my experience, I know for Holy Trinity Hospice and whatnot, you can get someone 24 hours a day. And in my experience, that would be with every hospice provider.
If someone were to call and they needed something, they needed someone to come out, how long after the phone call could you get someone out to them? How long would it take? Like if someone places a call to a hospice provider, is it a situation where within the hour someone will show up to provide care? Does it take 2 days? How long does it take?
Most hospice providers have an on-call nurse, and so I'm sure that the call would be answered relatively quickly.
Okay. And you mentioned that the family provides the component of 24/7 care.
Within the home setting.
So they're basically part of this hospice team.
Within the home setting, yeah.
Within the home setting.
Yeah.
What kind of care do they provide?
The families?
They're probably people out there that think, you know, maybe they're not able or not qualified to provide this care. That's not the case, is it? You don't ask them to provide more care than they're comfortable or able to provide.
No, I think that every hospice provider would attempt to do teaching education and show the families how to do things along the way. And I think that it's the family's ability, whether or not they can produce that kind of effort. It's a large effort. Well, and if you can take turns and provide that 24-hour support, then it can be easily managed.
What if there are young children in the home? I bet you there are a lot of people that think, you know, I'm afraid to have hospice come into my home because I have young children in my home.
Again, I say that's a family decision and a family choice, but and I think that's why there are things like a hospice residence for people to go to, because some people don't want small children within the home setting watching someone pass away.
If someone's out there and they're interested in finding out more about hospice, how could they contact you to find out more about hospice and what you know about hospice?
They can contact me by calling me, 508-341-7170, or they can go to our website, www.htnr.net.
And the kind of information on your website, what kind of information are they going to see there?
They're going to find out a lot of information, generally speaking, about hospice. There's a virtual tour of our hospice residents, insurance information, and sometimes qualifiers, what would qualify someone for hospice. Also, physicians and healthcare professionals can go on there to find out indicators for different diagnoses.
Quickly, how can someone pay for hospice?
Every insurance has a hospice benefit on it, and so hospice is provided by your insurance company.
We're going to head to a break right now. When we come back, I'll be joined by Donna Ostagai, and we will talk about the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit, the long-term planning guide, and at some point we'll try to fit in the Living Well with Cancer Symposium.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Are you searching for health answers? Want to find the best local healthcare specialists? Go to chartertv3.com. Our weekly health watch covers all the local health news you need to know. Go to chartertv3.com and click on worcester.md. You can find the best local healthcare professionals, get articles, watch videos, and rate your doctor all with one click. So tune in to Charter TV3 or go online to chartertv3.com/health and access the best local health resources. Charter TV3 and chartertv3.com. Always on.
There's a very real direct impact into the regional economy from each of these bases, but also statewide. As you pointed out, the cumulative economic impact is not only the payroll on the bases.
We have a strong argument to make, as Paul said, in terms of all the innovation that we have going on, both in academia and the private sector and our bases.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Governor Tim Murray. Join us here in the Commonwealth Report. Thank you for choosing Charter.
I'm Caitlin Tivnan from Worcester News Tonight. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus. I'm joined now by Donna Ostagai. We're going to talk about the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit.
Great kit.
It's a great kit.
It is.
What is the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit?
It is a kit that holds everything. I want to show our viewers exactly what it is. We've had over 3,000 calls for it. It expands to about 3 inches wide, so it holds everything, everything. When we designed this kit, Nick, last year, we had started planning it and thinking about, geez, what really do we see on a daily basis at our office?
How did it come about?
Okay. Every day, we see people in crisis. That's probably 50–60% of what we see is people who come into us with issues
probably more than 50 or 60%,
probably.
Yeah.
But issues of things like their mom's going to a nursing home, my husband has cancer, my wife had a heart attack, I need to get my affairs in order, I need to find things, and they come to us and they're very often, more than not, don't have anything organized. They can't find a power of attorney. They aren't able to find financial statements. And it can be the difference between, say, filing a mass health application, which we frequently do at our office for people, and not having all of the information together and spending a lot of time and money, exhaustive efforts, to get these things organized. This kit allows people to have everything in one central place. Included in the kit that we give away free, mind you, to all of our listeners, viewers, we've had over 3,000 calls for them already since last year, is a booklet that explains exactly how to fill your kit and what's needed to be filled inside of it, whether it be powers of attorney, healthcare proxy, and this can be for both husband and wife or just that one person. Things like life insurance documents, financial information, your doctor information, credit card information, things that are so crucial to everyday life. A lot of people, when we do our seminars, will say to us, geez, that's for when you're sick or when you're dying or have a diagnosis.
What do you say to someone who says, hey, this is a document only to be used upon my demise? Or if someone feels that it's only a document that can be used during their lifetime, what would you tell them?
It's really not. It's for people while they're alive, while they have the ability to plan and figure out what their future needs may be, while they have competency. That's a big factor. So many people come to us, Nick, and end up, honestly, being incompetent and no longer can make their decisions. This allows them the ability to go through this book slowly, while they're able to, figure out the things that they need to put in here, and actually be prepared for whatever the future brings.
What are some of the things? In fact, let's go over each of the items on the front of this kit.
With our little checklist here, I'll just show our viewers, there is a checklist to check off everything that you need to have in here that could be crucial to times that you may need in the future. Everything from even pet directives. A lot of clients have come to us in the past and said, I have nowhere to figure out where my pet is going to go after, you know, if they come with a diagnosis or need to get their affairs in order. This gives you the ability to include all of that in here. Organ body donation, life insurance information, memorial service instructions. Another time we did a seminar at the Worcester Senior Center, I recall.
You realize you're going back from when a person meets their demise.
But I'm coming up to the part that
yeah, I think a major problem is people will think that they don't need a kit like this unless they pass away. And the truth of the matter is this can help them minimize the cost of, and if they seek the assistance of an attorney, because all the information that the attorney needs will be available.
Nick,
that's one of the major problems that I see. People don't have anything.
I want you
to
recall.
Know where it is.
I want you to recall when we went to the Worcester Senior Center, and there was a gentleman there who spoke to us after we did this presentation. And he was so funny because, you know, he gave us the scenario of that. My daughter has a certain memorial service that she wants for me, but I don't want this.
I remember
and
him
he's
well.
alive and healthy and nothing wrong with him at all, okay? And the issue was that he wanted a certain service at his memorial service. That was important to him. And he brought up the question at the end and he said, Nick, can you please tell me, how do I stop my daughter from having the Mormon Tabernacle Choir at my memorial service? He says, I don't want that. I want it to be simple. And you explained that he could go to the funeral parlor, do a prepaid burial.
Prepay your funeral.
Figure out what your wishes are and what you want.
Yeah, that's a very common thing.
It is.
I would say more people prepay
But think about it. This isn't for death. This is for while you're alive. So that's why I relate this story, because this is the importance of it.
But if a person were to prepay their burial, they can take the documentation from the contract or the trust and store it in the organizer.
Yeah, and these are totally free of charge. That's the, I'll say, the beauty and the great thing about this is that this doesn't cost a thing. You can call our office for it. Like I said, over 3,000 copies. We have these on hand at some doctor's offices, at senior centers. They're all over.
All right, so as far as if someone thinks, hey, the price is right, it's not going to cost us anything, how can they go about getting one? There are a number of ways, right?
Well, there are. They can either go to our website. It's edlalaw.com. They can call our office, 508-755-6525, or they can even go to their senior center. We present these at senior centers all the time. I know that we will be at the Leicester Senior Center, I believe, in 2 weeks, presenting a seminar on this. The Lincoln Senior Center, the Concord Senior Center. I could go on and on.
Okay, so we'll say at seminars, if an individual wanted to attend a seminar that's specifically about the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit, that's a way for them to get the kit as well.
It is. It's just as easy to do that. Call our office. We are happy to send this. We've mailed out hundreds and hundreds, thousands at this point, to people who call our office and hear about this kit, totally free of charge.
If someone visits the website, when they visit the website, how difficult would it be for that person to navigate to the page where they have to order the kit?
It's as simple as can be. Right to the, I'll say the right side, if I know my right or left, the right side of our website, there's a button right at the side that you just click on, Be Organized, Be Prepared kit. Click on it. It'll bring you right to a page. You'd fill the information sheet out, send it along, we get it, we mail it out immediately.
Now, you heard that I was talking with Angela about hospice care, and one of the things that we talked about was a healthcare proxy, advanced directives, that kind of thing. Oftentimes people will come into the office, I'll see people, and they'll say something to me, something to the effect of, well, I know I'm the healthcare agent, but I don't know where the document is, or what do I do now?
So common. We see it all the time, all the time. People who will come in and have no idea if they do have one in place, they don't. They've lost where it's been placed, not sure if they have a current one that's more current than the other. Again, another safe place to keep it. I want to show our viewers also the information in here. When we have a part in the back, I'll just explain. We have a part in the back that's how to write an obituary, or exactly where the location of your valuable papers and assets are. So important to have. A lot of times we do wills for people.
Right.
We'll plan and we'll execute estate planning documents for people, and they come back and say, I think I did one in 1988, but I'm not positive. I'm not sure where it is. This allows you to put everything together.
But I don't want people to think that the majority of the benefit that they can derive from the packet, from the kit, is upon their demise. As we say, you know, all adults should have at least a basic estate plan comprised of surrogate decision-making documents, a durable power of attorney, a health care proxy, maybe a trust in the event they need trust-based estate planning. This kit, and I believe you had indicated, expands
to 3 inches.
To 3 inches.
It does, yeah.
You can put all those documents in here.
Yes, everything.
And what is a major benefit to being able to provide all that information here?
Well, I can tell you that if you ever have to visit our office, I'll be honest with you, when you come to us, we're going to ask you for basic things. Do you have an estate plan? Do you have any type of estate planning documents, a trust in place? Do you have a current power of attorney or a healthcare proxy? We tell you all the time when you come to our office, we can say it time and time again to people who walk in the door, these documents are for while you are alive. The most important document that you can have is your power of attorney while you are competent to complete this and get it done, and say who you would like to act on your behalf. So again, this allows you to come into our office completely prepared, completely.
So, for instance, if an individual came into the office, they needed to complete, well, say, a Mass Health application, the information that you need to obtain to be able to complete the Mass Health application, that really is what drives the expense. The longer it takes you to get the information, the more money you charge, because the more difficult it is, the more complicated it becomes, and the longer it takes to complete the application. But as far, and I'll go over some, you know, of these items that the kit lists personal information. Whatever personal information that's needed by the attorney's office, whether it's, you know, the office I work in, that you work in, and, you know, some other office, all the personal information is contained in this kit.
Do you know how many times, Nick, that we have our clients come into the office and I'll say, can you give me your mother or father's social security number? Well, I have no idea. How would I go about getting that? This allows the person, while they're healthy, mind you, to fill this out completely and have this ready. When you come in, social security number, date of birth, place of birth, even where you graduated from a school from, whether you're a veteran or not. Another important aspect for us when people come into our office.
Financial information, safe deposit box information, you know, it's all included so that in the event you had to fill out forms for people, Mass Health applications,
That's
for instance.
Huge.
It's all there.
Huge, Nick, to have
you don't
all
have
this
to
ready.
recreate everything. It's already there.
We'll go quickly, if I can, a quick story
Sure.
about one of our clients who came in, and her husband had 3 different safe deposit boxes in different areas, had never told her or her family, her sister herself, anything about where the safe deposit boxes were. And we found it out through filing the Mass Health application. She was paying for him to be in a nursing home about $12,000 a month, had to get benefits as soon as possible. She couldn't find out any information, had to drill the boxes to about $140 a pop to a piece to be able to drill the boxes open, which is really sad. Added expense. Had she known all this information, it would have been so much easier.
So you can put all that information in the kit.
You can.
Information is varied as health insurance information, doctor and healthcare information, retirement and pension information.
Tax documents. Your taxes.
Real estate tax.
One of the things we always ask for.
Whatever an individual might need, they can put in this kit.
I agree.
We're going to have to head to a break right now. When we come back, we're going to be joined by Angela Penny.
Great.
Millbury Healthcare Center is a highly respected 5-star, deficiency-free skilled nursing and rehabilitation center. We are renowned for our compassionate care and specialty programming, making it possible for your next step, returning home. We listen and take the time to understand your goals. We provide support and the tools needed to safely prepare for your transition home. Millbury Healthcare Center is the community choice for skilled nursing and rehabilitation.
Does your loved one suffer from memory impairment, dementia, or Alzheimer's disease? Consider Dodge Park Rest Home in Worcester. Our geriatric medical team and nursing staff are available 24 hours a day. We offer medication administration and incontinence care with dignity. Our activity programs are designed to engage and stimulate the mind. And with Dodge Park Rest Home, you can better protect your estate and save your assets with only a 1-year look back. Your loved one will feel safe and at home with Dodge Park Rest Home of Worcester.
Miss one of your favorite Charter TV3 programs? Simply go to Channel 1 with your remote control and select Community Interest. Choose from Worcester News Tonight, your favorite high school or college games, plus local shows such as Central Mass Chronicles, Commonwealth Report, and special presentations. They're all available on Channel 1 thanks to Charter On Demand. Watch what you want, when you want. A free service to Charter Digital customers on Channel 1 thanks to Charter On Demand. Are you searching for health answers? Want to find the best local healthcare specialists? Go to chartertv3.com. Our weekly Health Watch covers all the local health news you need to know. Go to chartertv3.com and click on worcester.md. You can find the best local healthcare professionals, get articles, watch videos, and rate your doctor all with one click. So tune in to Charter TV3 or go online to chartertv3.com/health and access the best local health resources. Charter TV3 and chartertv3.com. Always on.
Coverage from Central Massachusetts for Central Massachusetts.
Without heavy rain in the next 8 weeks, concerns could arise.
The trains will keep running between Worcester and Boston, but it will cost commuters more.
Some have taken that one step further by demanding passwords for applicants' social media site.
It is believed the 2 suspects and the victim were in room 214.
Reporters in the field and an in-depth local forecast. Worcester News Tonight on Charter TV3.
I'm Andy Lacombe from Worcester News Tonight. Thank you for choosing Charter.
Welcome back to the Senior Focus with Donna Osterguy and Angela Penny. So we were talking about the Be Organized, Be Prepared kit. You know, I think this is a tremendously effective tool for people to be able to use. Have you seen anyone in the hospice that has a kit?
I don't, but I'm happy that you're coming to help me and speak at the nursing home.
Well, you know, I'm going to give you this kit right now.
Thank you.
You know, the other thing I wanted to talk about briefly before we talk about the symposium is a long-term planning guide that is also published by Elder and Disability Law Advocates. And, you know, I look at this particular pamphlet, and it really is very thorough, and it covers all the bases, so to speak.
The good part about this book, I believe, is that when people get it in their hands, it explains everything. It's almost like a question and answer based book. So if you're asking what a will is, what a trust is, what a power of attorney is, what it can do for you,
it's all in
it's all inclusive. So that when you're asking what's a simple will, what's a testamentary trust, things that you don't have, I'll be honest, say if we had a seminar or even in our office for a consultation, it's difficult to get through every bit of this book. That's how comprehensive it is. It covers everything.
Yeah, what I'm particularly drawn to is page 3 and 4 of the guide, the importance of planning for the future, because it's a crisis-driven society, and so often you see people in the midst of crisis when they're struggling with you know, health concerns, or you know, the health concerns of a loved one, of a parent, of a spouse, and it's difficult for them to do any kind of planning at that point when they're laboring under some concern for a loved one, when, you know, maybe the last thing on their mind is financial planning. But the truth of the matter is, if they don't plan for the future, they might suffer catastrophic financial consequences.
That's what we see all the time at our office. Instead of planning, they'll come to us and say, well, geez, you know, my husband needs nursing home care. How am I going to save what I have? And we say at that point, you needed to come to us 5 years ago. There's a 5-year look back in Massachusetts. So when we go out and do seminars on this, when we offer people this free education, we encourage and really push people, please take it, learn about this so that you are able to plan effectively and accordingly for the rest of your life.
You know, the other thing I noticed on page 4, the importance of seeking assistance from elder law attorney. I know that's something that you say all the time.
I'm huge on that. Very, very big. We see so many times people who have come to us for an appointment and will say, well, I've had a trust for years, so everything's saved. And then you look at the trust, and we have Nick review it, or one of our attorneys review it, and we end up finding out that it wasn't completed, the documents weren't put into place by, we'll say, an elder law attorney. Everybody has their specialty. I tell people all the time when they come to our office, we aren't about criminal, we aren't about, say, personal injury. That's not our expertise. Nick's expertise, our law firm, is based on expertise in elder law. That's what we are about. So when they come to us and they'll say, well, I have this trust, I'm all set, and I'll say, no, you absolutely do not. This is a revocable trust, not an irrevocable trust. The difference between saving what you have and what you don't have now is non-existent. There is no, we won't say help, but it's very difficult to plan at that point. And they realize that, geez, I went to the wrong attorney. So we tell people all the time they can walk in the door and have a consultation with us. Yet we say, if you walk away from here, the one thing that you have to walk away with is the knowledge that whether you come to us or anybody else, you need an elder law attorney.
So, Angela, the article on page 6, so you want to stay home, I would presume that the vast majority of people that you see want to be able to stay home for as long as possible.
Absolutely.
Perhaps in some instances they can no longer be cared for appropriately and safely by their loved ones, by their family, so they may have to go into a facility that provides the level of care that they need. But I presume that you're going to tell me the vast majority of people you see want to be able to stay in their homes.
Absolutely, and I think Donna and I were talking about this before. Long-term care insurance policies, a lot of those, and life insurance policies have something for people to be able to have services provided in their home to assist them to take care. That's a very costly venture sometimes, and I think that your building, your office, could probably help people find which ways. A lot of people don't know that information.
No, and there's so much out there too that they're not aware of.
Right.
Nick's mantra, knowledge is power. That is the key for everything.
Really is
literally.
The more you know about something, the better off you are. You know, talking about knowledge is power, the more you know. Let's talk about the symposium.
I know, I'm so excited. This Thursday, April 5th at Holy Cross College. Angela, you will be there. We're very excited. She is one of our contributing sponsors of this event. Eastern Orthodox Management Corporation, if I have it all, Holy Trinity, Ichabod Washburn Hospice Residence. So you have the two levels when you think about it, long-term care and also the hospice if you don't want to stay at home. That's the key part. So I'm sure that at the event you'll be able to explain that to many of our people coming in. I think we have about 150 people signed up so far. And the numbers keep growing, which is scary because we're at the point where it's, you know, I have to give a food count to Holy Cross. Parking's free, lunch free. The whole day doesn't cost a thing for anybody who wants to attend. We still probably could make some exceptions at this point and take some more people. I know you want the more the merrier. That's Nick's little...
Well, you know, I think that if someone wants information, they should be able to get the information. And I know that, you know, the facility where it's being hosted wants to know what the count is.
They do.
And, you know, they need to plan appropriately. And I know they can't go over their fire regulations and that type of thing. But, you know, based upon some of the phone calls that were received from the last symposium, people are desperate for information.
They are.
But, you know, the problem is, it's like everything else that we see. It's a crisis-driven society. We don't get those panicked calls until it's like days before the event when you have to tell someone, well, I'm sorry, but, you know, we're at capacity. We have to close the event. We can't take more people. We have to put you on a waiting list for next year. And that's exactly what happened last time.
And we did that with our symposium, yes. For our Alzheimer's symposium, we have a wait list of 95 people. Plus that now, we've probably grown because we've had people trickle in since we began our show and started talking about all the symposia that we offer.
What's the day going to be like?
Well, it begins with registration at about 8:30, in between 8:30 and 9 o'clock. 9:15, we try and begin promptly. We have a huge group of speakers, all experts from UMass Medical Center along with you, Nick. And we'll begin the day with Dr. Alan Rasmarin. He's head of oncology for UMass Memorial Medical Center, and he's going to be speaking on patient-centered care. So more about living well with cancer and all the options that are available to you out there. So important to have.
I want to know, what kind of information are you going to have? What kind of information can people come to your booth and walk away with?
I'm hoping that when you ask me about the information, that I can provide you what hospice can do for you as a patient. And again, this is living well with cancer, and I love the title because a doctor said to me about my dad, because he had cancer for 9 years, and I said, well, when my dad was dying from cancer, and she looked at me and said, he was living with cancer. And that's a very true way to live your life when you have a diagnosis such as this. But if you should need end-of-life care, I'm hoping that at my booth you will be able to find out what we could do to help you at that journey.
It's so important for people in the community to be able to find out what resources are available to them. Oftentimes, they wait until a crisis occurs. They're dealing with so much. They're not able to go out and find out what kind of resources are available. And it's not easy to find out what's available out there. But in an event like this, to be able to bring together all the resources that are available in the community and to be able to provide that information to the attendees, I think is a wonderful thing.
25 different vendors. That's the beauty of this, that they can walk around the room during lunchtime, before we begin, after the end of the day, when there's plenty of time to still spare, and go and visit each of these exhibitor booths to find out the information, to get pamphlets, to get packets, to know that as the future comes, whatever that brings, whether they have a cancer diagnosis or not right now, they are able to get this information and keep it on hand.
So the registration begins, what did you say, 8:30 in the morning?
8:30 in the morning, Holy Cross College, this Thursday, April 5th.
The first presentation begins at 9:15.
It does, and the day
there's
ends.
Lunch
Free also, 12:15.
Yeah.
Day ends about 3 o'clock. I still want to mention to our viewers that if they plan on attending, please call our office. We do need an approximate count of people. 508-755-6525.
They can also go on the web, is that right?
They can, but I'd prefer at this point to get calls, just in case. Just in case. We're at the last minute.
Not only are we at the last minute for the symposium, but that's all for today's show. I want to thank Angela Penny and Donna Ostergaard for joining me today. And I want to thank all of you for joining us today. You know, as they say, knowledge is power. The more that you know about a subject, the better it is for you with respect to that particular matter. Join me next week for more Senior Focus. If you have any questions about today's show, please feel free to call me at 508-755-6525, or you can visit the website of the Senior Focus at www.theseniorfocus.com. And of course, thank you for calling. Thank you for watching. Thank you.